Basement level vibes with another one, straight up blackness aye. Who tell the truth? Mark Brenscop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Brenscop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Brenscop, straight up from the root. Mark Brenscop, who tell the truth? Mark Brenscop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Brenscop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Brenscop, straight up from the root. Mark Brenscop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Brenscop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Brenscop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Brenscop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Brenscop, straight up from the root. Mark Brenscop, who tell the truth? Mark Brenscop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Brenscop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Brenscop, straight up from the root. Mark Brenscop, we have to gather wrong, grab a seat and sit down, pay attention. Education, liberation, we have to stand strong. Brenscop upon the radio, lively up the program. Everybody call somebody and let them turn and tune and on the radio and catch the boom song. We boom it up already, we have to boom it up again. Expose and reveal him. Who tell the truth? Mark Brenscop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Brenscop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Brenscop, straight up from the root. Mark Brenscop, who tell the truth? Mark Brenscop.
Hey fans, it's karaoke and oldies night this and every Thursday at Club Twilight Sideline Dam, Buxton. Dance to the magical songs of yesteryear by popular DJs and Camps Audio. Admission is free. Come out, let's make memories at Club Twilight Sideline Dam, Buxton North.
Now tell me, where can we start? I wanted us to start on Church Avenue, but we're not going to start on Church Avenue just yet, because some people bumps are raising all manner of stupidity. Oh, boycotting! To call for boycott is a crime. To call for boycott is some sort of legal violation and all manner of things. And so they think that to call publicly for a boycott, look, I have a right to spend my money where I want to spend my money. You have a right to spend your money where you want to spend your money. I have a right to say to you, don't go here or don't go there. That is my right. It is my constitutional right. It is not a legal infraction. Some of these people got to know. So stop with the nonsense. I am the least intimidated. So don't play you're threatening me. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to tremble and go into a corner because of your stupidity. And now look, good night. Sorry I started off like that. I should be saying good evening to all of you. All of you, whether you're all the way on top of the hilltop, you're on the bottom of the mountain, wherever you go. Remember the speech of Dr. Martin Luther King, right? Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Those of you on the mountaintop, good night to all of you. Let me begin by saying this here. Do not be intimidated. Do not be afraid of speaking your mind. And when you speak your mind, guess what's going to happen? Somebody already calling me a pastor. Come on, John, calm down. Let's take a drink for that, right? Over the mountaintop, well, we don't go over the hills any longer. We are not going over the mountaintop. We are staying right here where we are. You know, is one of those guys who sang, some rap guy sang, what is it? DMX, we right here. We not going anywhere. We're right here. One more time. You really think so? You see, I know stuff too, you know. Don't call me an old man, guys. Now, let's get serious here. Irfan Ali's bumps is raising. It's raising. They're confused. They thought that going to Brooklyn to manipulate the minds of people, and people were going to put their hands up and surrender and say, oh, oh. So people, they feel that people don't have a right to stand up. They feel that people don't have a right to say no. They feel that democracy for them is hugging them up, chatting them, clap roti, clap bake, or whatever in dirty clothes. In dirty clothes, and that we must just shut up. That is democracy for those people. We must just shut up. Some of them within the community must come do as they like and then think that people are going to just say hallelujah, right? It doesn't work like that. When you embrace the oppressors, those who are oppressing people back in Guyana, when you do that, you got to feel the squeeze. Story done. Nothing is illegal about that. And those of you who are sitting in a corner in a rum shop or wherever you are, legal matters and legal this. Give me a goddamn break. No one is going to be intimidated by that. Not me. Come on. Give a break. Give us. Anyways, all of you, what's happening? Here is what I want to go to. Wayne Caesar is with us this evening. He went by Linda's. And good night to the folks at Linda's. He went by Linda's, got black pudding, got dal puri. God in heaven knows if he got clap roti. I know what he did. But what we know is that he went to Bobby's and buy a brand new tie. Good night, Wayne Caesar. How are you, sir?
A pleasant good evening to you, Mark, and good evening to all our listeners and viewers, freedom fighters out there. Good evening. Good evening. Share the link, like the program. Let's go. Come on, Mr. Benchcap. Let's rock and roll tonight.
That's okay. That's okay. Let's rock and roll indeed. And lots of rocking and rolling we have to do, but I hope, Irfan Ali, you're not intimidating anybody. Nobody's going to fall for your bluff. Don't cry your silly crocodile tears of racism and racist this and that. It appears that you guys are the only guys can speak out. Nobody else can speak out. That is why y'all have this one Guyana crap. The one Guyana crap thinking that everybody's going to embrace you guys. And when people don't embrace you guys, you want to have them slaughtered. You want to have them all sorts of things. Remember, the PPP has a history. But let me, before we get into our program, of course, our program started. I want to take our folks to this here. I want you guys to listen to this. They have quite a few of our Indian brothers and sisters who are on the same page, on the same track with us, saying the same things that we are saying. But hey, maybe for Irfan Ali and his ilks, it sounds different. But let's go to this here so that our listeners can hear. And I want you guys to listen carefully. This is not this Paku that's there. The Indian brother in this video, hear what he has to say about racial discrimination in Guyana, and especially racial discrimination against persons of African descent. Listen to what he has to say, guys.
I was made to understand that some people are refusing to buy the hot dog tickets as it relates to the PPP. I want to see the list of names of people who buy the hot dogs. And if those persons who refuse to buy the hot dogs and they are on this cash grant list that the government is going to give in April, I'm going to remove their names for failure to support the PPP. And I serious, I make a joke.
Viewers and subscribers, welcome to Guyanese News.
All right, let's pause for a moment there. let's pause for a moment. This is a PPP supporter. Is forcing people to buy hot dog. And if they don't buy hot dog, guess what? Discrimination. Nobody wants to speak. When you speak out about these things, the bumps raise, they get vexed. Well, tonight the bumps gonna raise. Let's continue with this tape, please, Mr. Caesar.
Where we discuss news about Guyana and the diaspora. If you're new to this YouTube channel and you want breaking, trending Guyanese content, please smash the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment in the comment section. You can also support this YouTube channel by becoming a member and getting exclusive perks, exclusive video that is not going to be uploaded publicly, is going to be uploaded to the members of this YouTube channel. So press the member button and become a member. We are going to play a video with a Guyanese, Antonio Ahmad, exposing the PPP politician them. Right now, Guyana full of oil money, and there is $1 million worth of contracts that is taking place.
All right, we'll get back to that. It seems as though they get ads here, but let's go again.
Politician family and friends, and this businessman, who is also a contractor, is exposing everything. You are going to be surprised what is taking place. Right now, we all know that Guyanese critics get the $1 billion contract, right? And if you check the post them on Facebook, when the government released all of those contracts, there was a photograph circulating. Most of those contracts related to the families of Guyana politicians them. That is why the ethnic relation community is stepping in and trying to investigate why local Guyanese is not getting this contract. So check out this businessman exposing everything. Remember, this is Guyanese News. Smash the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment in comment section, and become a member of this YouTube channel.
Talk about contracts, right? You see, what I can't understand is the government is saying that they're not corrupted, right? And their ministers are not corrupted. But explain to me this. How, in 1 year time, right? If you have 100% bidding for different contracts, they're not getting it. But one man is getting 3-4 contracts for 1 year. Explain that to me. How that one person is getting 3-4 contracts for 1 year when other people are bidding for that 1 year for different contract and they're not getting none. Explain that to me. You know why they're not getting it? Because friends and family and cheese. Secondly, the government is saying they are not racist. If you are not racist, right, then explain this to me. If you have majority of black community, the black people in this country, Guyana, right, are teachers and nurses, right? And you do not want to raise the salary and you do not want to give them a good wage or whatever you call it, right? You don't want to give them good salary. You don't want to make their life easier. But you choose to import, to bring Bangladeshi nurses 500, and you choose to give them how much? $1,000 I think a month, and plus free place to stay. But your own Guyanese people, black community, black people in this country, right? You're saying you're not racist, right? Now, you do not want to give your own Guyanese people that support you for the last election, that voted for you, right? Your political party, PPP government. You do not want to.
All right, let's take a pin there for a moment, Wayne. You heard this Indian brother, Guyanese, of course, of East Indian descent, is pleading a case for persons, his brothers and sisters, African brothers and sisters. He is admitting, he's saying that this regime run by Irfan Ali and Jack Dale is a racist regime and they are discriminating against Guyanese in general. Yes, but more so toward Guyanese of African descent. This is coming from an Indian Guyanese brother. But they're not going to attack him. They're not going to make ads with him. They're going to make ads with us, people like us. How racist could that PPP regime be? What is your take on what this brother just said?
Well, Mark, listen, and you know, many thanks to the brother. You know, he comes out and he speaks to the truth. Now, what he would have just said, it's just confirmation, Mark, you know, of what everyone has been saying all the time, that this PPPC government, installed government, is racist. And listen, when he speak of the contracts, Mark, now we all know of the corruption, you know, with the PPPC. So how can you get your kickbacks? You could only get your kickbacks, Mr. Benchcop, if there is nepotism involved. Now, you bring an outsider like him. He is not in the ring. So if you get him involved and you're looking for, let's say, kickback from this businessman that's on the photo, that's on the screen here, that's a major risk. You can be exposed, because if he's not done with that, then he can expose you. So there's no way that him or any other normal individual, Mark, is going to get any contracts, much less the larger contracts. They may get a little something, you know the little crumbs of
a little something.
Yeah.
So what this guy is basically, and we've got to commend him. Good night again to all these people. They're not going to put his face on any ad and call him a racist. They're not going to do anything. They're going to try to find other ways to shut him up, to silence him. But let's continue with this video so that we can hear exactly what he's saying, which is nothing different than what many of us have been saying for a long time.
Give them a good salary. Then what do you call that? That is not racist? What do you call it? Hatred? Explain that to me. If it's not racist. Majority of the teachers in this country are black. Majority of the nurses in this country are black. And they're going in the States and they're making money. They're getting good salary because they have the qualifications. Imagine your own people in your country, you cannot afford to give them. You can afford, but the thing is that you just choose to not give them because you want them to stay poor. You want them to stay in a way, in a lifestyle that the government could control these people. That is the situation in Guyana. Foreigners do not know the situation that is going on in Guyana until you come to Guyana and face it. Imagine foreigners coming in Guyana and crying for buy everything. Majority of the foreigners that are coming in this country, when they come to the market and they hear the prices for items in the market, they cry to buy it. When they go to the supermarket or go in the Chinese store, the hardware store, because they come and they build houses and stuff, and they go and they buy hardware items and stuff, they cry to buy it because they know that things are very expensive.
All right, let's pause for a moment. He's talking about the reality in Guyana. This is an Indian Guyanese brother, a Guyanese, of course, of East Indian descent, is speaking out against the discrimination, racial discrimination. He's calling it as it is. But let's, Mr. Caesar, let's go to Brooklyn. And let's go to this particular tape here, because it doesn't make much sense. But listen.
Take responsibility. Yep. We want you to look out for us. We do not want no segregation. No. We are one people. And if we're going to do it, let's do it together. Because we have respect for you. Thank you.
All right, President. All right, President. I agree with you, and I would have it no other way. No other way. There is only one way forward, and that is united. That is for us to band together, for us to...
That's all a fraud. Don't bite that hype. But I'll give you a chance to respond to that nonsense we just heard there, and especially with Irfan Ali saying he will have it no other way. But of course we know that. He will have it no other way. That's a lie. But But let's go. As soon as he's done with those people in Brooklyn who embraced him, oh, what a good man he is, and all manner of things. And he felt good. But his bumps raised after he got the lash back. He didn't expect that. So they're vexed right now. But as soon as he got back to Guyana, this is what he did. Let's go straight to this tape.
Do what you did yesterday. And tell you about move today. Last month, these people gotta eat. Last month, they got to eat. Last month, what happened to consultation?
So we're out to the Seawall here.
Last month. What happened to consultation?
Seems that they're here to break down persons' businesses.
You're not going to take bread out of my people's mouth. As I said,
They need to move today.
they're not moving. Tell ropes and them and tell them, should I tell them to come to cell? Let them come to cell. This is getting over there right now. And it's one set of blasting people at target and black people all over there. One set of people. Black people all over.
All right, Chanel Daniels, thank you so much for your bravery. Thank you so much for what you did, and others who turned out there. Thank you so much. Right after, Mr. Caesar, right after the PPP or Air Finale was in Brooklyn, walking around, taking pictures, clapping roti, and all manner of things. As soon as he got back, that is exactly what happened. Are you surprised at all?
Absolutely not, Mark. Listen, from the time what would have transpired in Mocha would have transpired, I would have, I came to the position that this is not going to stop until the people step up and stop this. Same thing at Hillfoot, same thing at LBI, same thing at Success, and it's happening other places across Guyana also. These guys are not going to stop until the people stop them. But Mark, you know what? Deception and lies, hypocrisy at its best is what would have occurred in Brooklyn. And all those individuals who surrounded and entertained this oppressor / dictator, shame on you guys. You guys should be ashamed of yourself because now you look silly. Look what's happening at home to your brothers and sisters. They have been served eviction notices. Now, Mark, they want the Seawall to look all clear, and everything must look nice and good and everything so that they can put up their hotels and everything, and they must not be impeded in any way or form. People must be able to walk out to the Seawalls and see what they see. They mustn't see these little stalls that may not present themselves, good enough to meet the standards of the big investors and the foreigners that's going to be coming in and sitting in these hotels and all these type of things. But what the PPPC needs to remember as part of their manifesto that they had promised 50,000 jobs. Where the hell are those jobs? And why are you evicting these people? Why are you evicting them? They have a right to live, Mark. That is what people are not understanding. Everybody has a right to live in this world. It is unfair. This guy comes to Brooklyn and promises this. We're going to move together. We're going to move Guyana forward together. We're going to stand in unity. What unity? What unity are we talking about? And might I say this, Mark, since I'm already speaking, might I say this? There would have been equal distribution of wealth and everything across Guyana, and everybody would have been living happily in Guyana if there were no Afro-Guyanese present in that country. I have to say this. This thing is racist in nature, and it needs to stop.
It needs to stop. Yep, thank you. It certainly needs to stop. Those of you who are now joining us, good night and welcome to Straight Up. My name is Mark Benchop, and with me is Wayne Caesar, no stranger to you guys. We want to take a look at, you're talking about the discrimination and so forth. Look at what they have. This is $5.3 million. Can you believe it? $5.3 million for this. They call it a house. $5.3 million. Let's see what the comments of some of our listeners are. Can you believe this? $5.3 million for that piece of stuff they call house. $5.3 million. I don't know what's happening, but hope the folks, some of those folks out in Brooklyn who the community feel have betrayed them And when the people feel that they're betrayed, they have a right to say they're not going to spend their money at places who embrace dictators. The people have that right. And those business people who are feeling the squeeze in Brooklyn, that's it. You've got to go back to the community and apologize for your misstep. You've got to do that. I can't believe that this is what happened out there, especially at Kings County. So as soon as they got back, as soon as Irfan got back to, and by the way, I heard that there's an investigation as to who authorized that visit at Kings County Hospital. Maybe Irfan Ali would have to answer questions. But as soon as they got back, as soon as Irfan Ali got back to Guyana, guess what happened, Mr. Caesar? He's back to his old tricks. Look at what's happening. Let's hear Auntie Data. And let's hear Auntie Data. This is not just an African Guyanese thing. A lot of our Indian brothers and sisters are feeling the squeeze. Auntie Data?
Yeah, my name is Jasniti Kaldata Francis Vietnam. And since 1965, I become a voter. And I always place my X next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data. I have none.
If they have to lose by one vote, they have to lose by anti-data. But let's, Wayne, quickly go back to this to show the people how racist the PPP regime is. But yet, those guys, some of those guys in Brooklyn see nothing wrong with that. What are they looking for? I hope they're not looking for handouts and little pittances and these sort of things, because back in the civil rights struggle, people considered Dr. Martin Luther King and all those guys who were marching would consider this a sell out to their communities. And when people sell you out, regardless of which community, and especially business people, you stay away from their businesses. You stop supporting them until they get their act together. This is what happened as soon as Irfan went back to Guyana.
That's what you're supposed to have. Nobody can't call you. Tell me nobody cannot. Tell me to call you. Do I today? Yes, today. And tell you I move today. People gotta eat. Last month they got to eat. Last month what happened to consultation? Giving us current.
So we go to the Seawall here.
What happened to consultation?
Seems that they're here to break down persons' businesses.
You're not going to take bread out of my people's mouth. As I said,
They need to move today.
They're not moving. Tell ropes from them and tell her, should I tell her to come to cell? Let her come to cell. This is getting over.
Let her tell, let's put it, yeah, look, this is the structure there along the seawall. For those of you who probably know where Camp Street is, heading back to Vicinjan Road. I know you're a country boy, Wayne. Do you know that area?
Yes, Mark, when I was down in Guyana, I did go to the Seawall on Sundays and stuff, and, you know.
Talk about the hypocrisy again and how Guyanese in general are suffering, because we saw what they did to Anti-Data as well. We saw what they did to the Aziz family, basically burned down their butcher shop. We know what they do to people who don't support them. And we also see the evidence as to how they treat African Guyanese. Look at what's going on here. How do you feel about this, Mr. Caesar?
Well, first, Mark, before I even comment on this, I want to just go ahead and thank Miss Chanel Smith Daniels. I know she would have had enough, you know, so she went out there and she showed some representation for those people out there, because many times, you know, people are forced to stand alone and deal with this dictatorship.
So this
So
whole,
I'm
the
thankful
the
to her
entire
for going up and
structure.
standing up for those
Yeah,
people.
thank you. The entire structure. Look at it. This entire area, ordinary people looking to make a dollar. They want to bulldoze these people's businesses, broke it down, and chase the people to go wherever it is, maybe on the bread line, obviously, all because of their ethnicity. Now, all of them might not just be persons of African descent, but 95 or 98% of them are who they are. Go ahead with your point, please, Mr. Caesar.
Yeah, well, Mark, look, across the board, this government, has not shown the ability to create jobs for people in Guyana. Hence, instead of going out there and stealing and getting themselves in trouble, Guyanese are forced to fend for themselves. So therefore you got to find a little corner and you got to try and do something for yourself so that you can eat, your family can eat. These people have a lot of expenses. A lot of these people struggle to pay their rent, struggle to pay their bills. Some of them probably go with blackouts and all these type of things because they don't have, the necessary income, to pay these expenses. And you're going to come and you're going to take away bread from them. I mean, Guyanese, come on. When are we going to step up and stop this? This has got to stop. This has got to stop, man. And the hypocrisy of this, because this government was an installed government, are the people who would have installed them not looking? This angers me. It really angers me. That's why, Mark, I have to get on the program from time to time and I have to call out people because people, there are many who are accountable and should be held accountable for what is happening to the Guyanese people in an oil-producing nation. This is shameful. It is disgraceful. And the PPPC and their entire installed government should be ashamed of themselves because they have done absolutely nothing for the Guyanese people.
They have absolutely no shame. Thank you, Wayne. Let's go back to this video. They have absolutely no shame. This is what happened as soon as Irfan Ali returned to Guyana after kissing up and hugging up some of those people who I assume knew what was happening, knew that he was going to be there in Brooklyn. And as soon as he finished with his fake hugs and his fake kisses and his fake visit and his fake clapping roti, guess what? He went right back to Guyana and back to his old tricks.
That's what you're supposed to have. Nobody can't call you. Nobody cannot call you. Today, yes, today. And tell you to move today. People gotta eat. Last month, they got to eat. Last month, what happened to consultation?
So we're out to the Seawall here.
What happened to consultation?
Seems that they're here to break down persons' businesses.
You're not going to take bread out of my people's mouth. As I said,
They need to move today.
They're not moving. Tell ropes and then and tell Ejil I said I'll come to scale.
Tell Ropes and Ben and tell Ejil let it go themselves. Tell Ropes and Bell, tell Ejil let them go themselves. And this is how the corrupt PPP regime is treating persons of African descent. Good night to all of our listeners. I know you guys, I know how you guys are feeling. I know how, especially those folks out in Brooklyn, Wayne, I know how they're feeling. Majority of people, 99% of Guyanese community there in Brooklyn are upset. Don't worry with the 1%. Don't worry. The 1% cannot control the 99%. Just be sure about that. Cannot control. But how it is always you think that the PPP rushes. They rush to call people like us racist and we are bad people. How does that make you feel? At least let's hear from you.
Well, Mark, that is absolutely not the case. We have called many times on this show and many other shows that we want to see all 6 ethnic groups coming together and moving Guyana forward. So indeed, we're not racist. I have called for all the parties in the coalition to become more inclusive. I want to see more Indian brothers and sisters in those parties. The parties need to diversify across the board. We are now in the 21st century. We need to get rid of those old practices. And, because it would take us getting rid of those old practices, the racism amongst other things, in order to be able to move Guyana forward and in order for us to be on one accord. Again, Mark, I've always said, and I'll say it again going forward, Guyana needs to always have a coalition government in place because all is represented at the table, and that's the way it needs to be in order to have equal distribution of wealth across the country, amongst other things. Racism and these things, we need to eliminate these things. Once and for all, we need to eradicate racism in Guyana. And Mark, it seems as if it is government that always pushes this narrative, particularly the PPPC, because we've heard Barry Jagdeo. I have not heard anyone else. I have only heard Barry Jagdeo with these type of statements.
They have a history of these things. And you do not have to have a coalition government in order to have a government to do the right thing for the people. Whether it's a coalition or not, you always want a government that will protect the interest of its people, whether it is coalition or not. But what we have right now is a criminal cabal, a criminal regime, a corrupt regime, a racist regime. That is what it's about. Let's go back, Mr. Caesar, to this video here. And I want our listeners to hear carefully what this Indian brother has to say about racism by this corrupt PPP regime. Listen to him carefully, please. And I hope those people in Brooklyn, those few people, those 1% individuals who are not going to take control of the community. Here's what this Indian brother has to say.
On Facebook, when the government released all of those contracts, there was a photograph circulating. Most of those contracts related to the families of Guyana politicians. That is why the ethnic relation community is stepping in and trying to investigate why local Guyanese is not getting this contract. So check out this businessman exposing everything. Remember, this is Guyanese News. Smash the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment in the comment section, and become a member of this YouTube channel.
Talk about contracts, right? You see, what I can't understand is the government is saying that they're not corrupted, right? And their ministers are not corrupted. But explain to me this. How, in 1 year time, right? If you have 100 person bidding for different contracts, they're not getting it. But one man is getting 3-4 contracts for 1 year. Explain that to me. How that one person is getting 3-4 contracts for 1 year when other people are bidding for that 1 year for different contract and they're not getting none. Explain that to me. You know why they're not getting it? Because friends and family and cheese. Secondly, the government is saying they are not racist. If you are not racist, right, then explain this to me. If you have majority of black community, the black people in this country, Guyana, right, are teachers and nurses, right? And you do not want to raise the salary and you do not want to give them a good wage or whatever you call it, right? You don't want to give them good salary. You don't want to make their life easier. But you choose to import, to bring Bangladeshi nurses 500, and you choose to give them how much? 1,000 US, I think, a month, and plus free place to stay. But your own Guyanese people, black community, black people in this country, right? You're saying you're not racist, right? Now,
that Antonio is making a valid point. And I'm glad that this is coming from Indian Guyanese brother. Ganesh Mahipal, Member of Parliament, said the same thing. Pandit Obrajnarayan said the same thing, that it is wrong. They have discrimination, racial discrimination as well in Guyana. Ricky Ramrup said the same thing. Ramsrup said the same thing. Our Indian brothers and sisters are saying the same thing. The Aziz watching this show have said the same thing. and other Indian brothers and sisters who are watching, who are constantly watching these lives, are in agreement. But when we say it, I've noticed that they put some ad, they probably paid hundreds of millions of dollars for these propaganda stuff they have right now, saying that Ben Sharp is a racist, Burke is a racist, Simona Brooms is a racist, and some other individual. I can't, I'm not sure. I noticed they have something with Brung on there too, Norman Brung, and maybe some other individual, but I don't know. But suddenly they tend to, do you guys think it's a coincidence that they round up us and call us the usual suspects because we are brave enough to confront the ills, the vindictiveness of this corrupt PPP regime? And because we do that, they want to single us out, handpick us, and basically package us as though we are racist. But I know the majority of Guyanese know better. They know that Ben Sharp is not a racist. And I don't have to jump on the hills. Sorry, on the mountain top, not the hills. I'm not jumping on the hills. I'm not going in the hills. I've gone in the hills before, even though they have some pakus who say, Ben Sharp never go to the hills. He never buy anything on the hills. I used to go to the hills, but I haven't gone to the hills in a long time. But I used to urge people to go to the hills. Will I continue to do that? Hills, no. Over to you, Mr. Caesar.
Mark, to make accusation and allegations that one or a group of activists is racist without any evidence to support such a statement makes absolutely no sense. There's a preponderance of evidence, okay, to prove that the PPPC is indeed deeply racist. Okay? They're a racist regime. All right? And when I say racist, it's not just against Afro-Guyanese people. They are racist against their own people.
No, they discriminate against their
They
own.
discriminate against their own. Yes. So there is no limitations when it comes to the PPPC. It's definitely the wrong government that is sitting there in power in Guyana. Guyana goes nowhere under this PPPC regime. But one thing I must say is that the investors, the exterior investors and influencers seeks to gain immensely having this dictatorship regime sit in power and continues to suppress, oppress, and abuse the normal everyday Guyanese across the board, meaning all 6 ethnic groups. The people need to come together once and for all and remove this installed regime. Guyana belongs to the people. It does not belong to any exterior forces or the PPPC and their little interior clan that they have. Okay? And one way to start is by standing up when it comes to these vendors on the Seawall there in the Camp Street area. Okay? We all need to rally around and stand up with them. Their stalls should not be broken down. Unless you don't have a job for them, they should remain right where they are, because they were forced to invent something for themselves. Government did not help them. Government did not pay for the structures that they got up there. Government have no right to break down their structures. So Ejil, you need to kneel down and pray for like the next 50 million years, man. You are a wicked, evil man. You are wicked. You and your government, you all are selfish. You all are selfish, and you all continue to mismanage the revenues, mismanage the oil patrimony and everything related to Guyana. So with the people struggling, don't look to the people, look to yourselves. You are the ones that are in charge. You are the ones that should be creating the jobs. You are the ones that are responsible for providing proper services to the Guyanese people. So to the PPPC, I put all of these issues at your feet. Blame no one else but yourselves.
Absolutely.
Over to you, Mark.
Thank you so much. And if you're now joining us, my name is Mark Benchop with Wayne Caesar. We're talking about what is raising its ugly head again. Uh, Obviously, it's coming from the government side, the so-called government side. They're playing the race card. And we want to read between the lines. They're spending hundreds of millions of dollars with propaganda on NCN and all these TV, radio stations that are connected to them. I want you to listen to this particular program on NCN and take a listen to the blame game.
Good afternoon, fellow Guyanese here in Guyana, as well as those persons in the diaspora. This afternoon, I'll be chatting with some friends, Jakey and Alfonso, on a particular issue that has been raising its ugly head recently, and that has to do with race relations within Guyana. So we will be chatting this afternoon among friends about this particular issue. We will discuss whether it is for real or if it's just a figment of somebody's imagination. So let me talk to my friends and let's share some information with you and some facts and figures about if this matter is indeed something real. Jakey, let's talk about it. You've been in Guyana for quite some time working as a businessman and you've been underground.
But let's pause there for a moment. What sort of question is this? What sort of ridiculous question is this? Is it for real or just a figment of one's imagination when we have witnessed what the regime has done targeting specifically African Guyanese communities? They hardly give African Guyanese contracts, and if they do, they just throw a couple of crumbs to them, and that's it. This is not a figment of one's imagination. It is the truth. But let us hear the propaganda that they put these guys up now here to do some damage control.
And you're Afro-Guyanese. Tell me about your experience in terms of race and racism.
Right, Marcy, thanks for having me. Just like everyone would know, I'm a former cricketer, and I've played cricket for over 2 decades. So I'm saying this to say that while I was playing cricket, there was no discussion about race. We played for Guyana, we stuck together, and when we went out on that field, it was for Guyana and for the Guyanese people. I want persons to understand that we cannot continue to listen to this race talk. It is important for persons to know where that talk came from and don't follow on it. You look at what the government continues to do.
Right away, we got to stop there because we know where the hell he is heading. I haven't seen my friend Marcia Hope. Marcia was out of Guyana for quite some time. She's back in Guyana. Marcia, if you're watching, good night. But I'm surprised you asked whether racism is a figment of one's imagination. But this guy was just on his propaganda note, and we had to stop him. But go right ahead, Mr. Caesar.
Yeah.
You're not surprised that racism is a figment of people's imagination?
Yeah, sure. Mark, the guy speaking there, I think she said his name is Jakey or something.
Or Jokey, or I don't know.
Yeah. He's a cricketer. I'll say this. He doesn't know what the normal, everyday, poor Guyanese is feeling. Based on how he's speaking, he's never been in those trenches. Okay, so you would have had to have been there to understand what's happening. He's wearing glasses. He needs to buy a new pair because I don't know what he is seeing. Okay, but when I look across the board there, all I see is 3 hypocrites sitting down there about to have an interview. Yes, Mr. Benchcop, to do damage control for this install regime. You see, when the crumbs trickle down, Mark, and people are getting it, they start to change. They don't see things for the way it really is. They see something different, okay? Because the soup is flowing their way, all right? What that guy just had to say is a bundle of garbage because he hasn't been on the ground with people. He does not understand what the people of Guyana is experiencing, but yet he is putting himself in a position thinking that he can speak on their behalf. He has no right speaking on behalf of the Guyanese people because he doesn't know what they're going through. He's not one who sits down. He's not one that sits down and receives calls from them, you know, complaining about what's happening in Guyana.
Mr. Caesar, he doesn't have any authority.
Correct.
I don't know who he is. I've never heard him as a cricketer, and I love cricket. But it is just something that is false. He probably has some contracts in the housing authority, building houses and these sort of different things. And so he's happy. He's happy now. He's enjoying himself. And so therefore he felt compelled, or maybe somebody forced him and said, look, you've got to go out and say these things. I don't know what part of the world he's living in, whoever he is, some Jacobs or whatever.
Mark, sorry to interrupt, but my honorable brother, Mr. Ian Williams, is here. And yes, the guy name is Jacobs. He's a cricketer. And Ian Williams is saying that he needs to have the donkey with immediate effect. And I agree with Ian.
Yeah, that's okay. So before we get to that, this guy is enjoying the sweetness. He has contracts to build houses. I'm not sure if he has built one of those small houses or whatever it is, and 5.3. I don't know. But these are the kind of guys they're going to pluck out and say, hey, come here, trucks. Go and represent us. Hey, come, trucks. Go and represent us. Come, hey, come. And this is exactly what is happening. The regime is ashamed. They're embarrassed. Their backs are against the wall. They are embarrassed, so much so that they're bringing these guys to talk. But Mr. Caesar, let us listen at least for 30 seconds more. Marcia Hope, I haven't seen Marcia in a while. Marcia, I didn't know that you're interviewing now, but let's hear what this guy got to say.
May it be in the housing sector, may it be in the education sector. When you look at it Because We Care grant, I'm just going to use one simple example. We look at it Because We Care grant. It's for all Guyanese. It's no particular race.
Lies, lies, lies. The Because We Care grant is not for that. He is enjoying the contract at the professional housing scheme or whatever. He's enjoying that. Maybe we should have an audit. Maybe we should find out why is he building, or whose money is he using to build these houses. We don't know. I don't know. I can't speculate, but I can just ask, is it his, or does he have a partner in this here? But listen to this guy as he is talking about what is happening in Guyana, and there's no racism. Yes, he's talking about the cash. Look at this, Because We Care. When you take a look at this, Mr. Caesar, and all the other listeners out there, does this look as something that you would want to describe as Because We Care? This is not a government that cares. This is a government that cares about friends, families, and favorites. That is what it is all about. And so this guy that is talking there right now, we don't expect him to talk anything other than what he's talking about. Because if he says what that Indian brother said, calling the government a racist government, calling the government a government that discriminates against persons of African descent, if this guy says that, this guy, Jacobs, a cricketer, I don't know who he is, he probably was what, a boy or something. I don't know, never heard of him. But if he says anything contrary, he ain't getting no more contracts as of tomorrow. Let's hear what you have to say, Mr. Caesar.
Well, Mark, first and foremost, Stephen Jacobs is a hypocrite. That's what he is. He's a hypocrite. I don't care how much cricket you play for Guyana. You have no say when it comes to the Guyanese people. Okay? Because you're not interested. You're not interested in the oppression that they are facing. You're on your little high hill sitting down, and you pay no attention whatsoever to the poor man. So therefore, you cannot speak on behalf of the poor man. And listen, Mark, you know, the PPPC has a way, and you know, they can do that because they control NCN 100%. And we know that should not be. It should be a sharing agreement when it comes to NCN. But they're bullies, they're dictators, so they're controlling NCN, and they're able to disseminate this type of information to the Guyanese people. But Guyanese, you need to stand up and you need to rebuke these type of statements that the PPPC is trying to make here. People like Stephen Jacobs, you need to put them to the side. They are shame. They are disgrace to society.
One of the things, Mr. Caesar. First of all, calm down. First of all, Jacobs is a counselor for the PPP. He's a PPPC counselor at the mayor and city council. He owns a pawn shop, or he operates a pawn shop called Jacobs Pawn Shop in Kitty, I believe. And so the fact that he is a PPP, we are not going to waste our time any longer with him, because he's not making anything, he's not saying anything that makes sense. He has to say the things that he's saying. Otherwise, that's it. That's it. Curtis Lutchman is saying he was never a good cricketer, but I don't want to get into that. What I do know is that it is hypocrisy what he is saying here. And since someone had asked that, let us give him the award for the night, then he gets it. Then there are some folks now are going to say, look at Ben Sharp and look at Wayne Caesar, look at them. They're attacking their own black brother. They're this and they're that and all manner of things. Give me a break. Give me a break.
Mark, it's not about black or any other color. It's about right and wrong. That's what it's about, right and wrong.
But when this guy was talking about chasing people and all these sort of things, they never, and some of these pakus, so-called social media influencer and all them nonsense, that they're not going to talk the things. They're not going to talk as to how the PPP destroyed Guyana. The hundreds of people that were slaughtered, that were killed. They're not going to talk about what the PPP has done to people that destroy lives. They got guys like Civic can talk about that. They have others can talk about that. But when this Paku, Jack Deere, talks about these sort of things, it's okay. They don't call a round table at NCN to have a discussion. Suddenly they want to talk about racism. When this regime practices racism every single day, they do that. Listen to this, Paku.
Right across Ghana, when the ministers of Granger or Nagamutu come here after the 21st of March, you say to them, walk behind them, chase them out, they're going to be illegal. Say to them, you're illegal. Free up the country, you're undemocratic. They're going to face a different situation right across the country.
When they come to the communities, whether it is in Berbice or Essecubo and Linden or in South Georgetown or Agricola or in Emnor or Port Morant, the people of Guyana should treat them as illegal. I said they should walk behind them, chase them out of your community.
Walk behind them, chase them out. He has that right. He daddy, he mama must be dead and leave he the title of Guyana so he can talk these things. But when we talk about chasing them out of Brooklyn, it becomes a problem. We are racist. We are separates. Not separatists according to Klong Air Finale. Separates. We are all sort of things. But they are the only ones who have the right to say those sort of things. Not us. Not us. But hey, I'm not too bothered about them. What else is on your mind before we close off, sir?
But listen, the two short clips that you just showed here, you see a man making a lot of noise. He wants power. He wants to rule. He wants to lead. Okay, you're installed and you've gotten the power. What have you done with it? What have you done for the people? Absolutely nothing. You see, these empty cans make a lot of noise. The Guyanese people have to start vetting these people. Barry Jack Deer's been around for so long, Mark. He has failed the people for such a long time. Why carry on with him? Why carry on with him? The country needs to move forward, man. And listen, he seems to be the only one, like you would have said, Mark, who can come out and speak in that manner and get away with it. Because if somebody else says slightly something close to what he would have just said, the ERC, the fake ERC, the waste of time ERC is ready to jump all over them. Again, I say that ERC should be decommissioned. Use the money for other things. Give the money to the old age pensioners, man. It's a waste of time. It is just there in place to represent the PPPC.
One of the things as we close off here tonight, I just want to have you guys see this fake guy talking about unity. If he believes in unity, they would not spread the propaganda of one Guyana, when in fact it's one people, one nation, one destiny. That's what it is. One people, one nation. But this guy is such a bitter individual. He divides Guyana every single day. Just look how they're treating all those persons, those vendors along the Seawall section there. Just take a look. But listen to this bitter guy. As soon as he got back to Guyana, because people are not in his corner, so to speak, people have no right to speak out. They want everybody to shut their mouth and agree with them. But it's not going to happen. 99% of the people of Brooklyn, Guyanese in Brooklyn, are against these guys and are upset with what those few individuals did to them in Brooklyn. That is why people are going to keep their monies in their pockets and boycott those businesses. But let us see this angry man. Angry man.
I'm very pleased to address my fellow Guyanese brothers and sisters, especially those in the diaspora. As your president, I find the greatest joy when I'm with you, whether in your communities, on the ground, or just sitting around with you, discussing ideas and discussing the future of our country. Yes.
Forget about that. Fake talk.
But achieving prosperity.
You want when he bum start raise.
To show to me, and for saying to me, celebrating your work, being proud of you. I was so proud to hear the stories from CEOs and leaders.
And Irfan is a fraud. Irfan is a fraud. Political fraud. Your own country people in Guyana, you don't sit, you don't talk to them, you don't respect them, but yet you sit here with propaganda. Hear the bitterness now.
To these individuals, my brothers and sisters, because of the hurt they're trying to instill in the people, in the ordinary people, in you, the people of Brooklyn, who came out. And what are you guilty of? You are guilty of welcoming a president.
Oh, yeah, give me a break. Welcoming what president? Give me a break. He deserves the award for the night. He deserves it. Guilty of discriminating against the people of Guyana. That's what he is guilty of. Guilty of walking around with hundreds of millions of dollars and dashing it out to their support base. This is what they do while they discriminate against mainly persons of African descent. That is a fact, whether he likes it or not. In closing, because we really have to go, briefly, your closing remarks, please, sir.
Yeah. Listen, Mark, the people of Brooklyn, they was undermined on Friday by a few business people. But that does not mean, that we are not playing in front. We're still playing in front. It shows that the PPPC is desperate. And Irfan Ali's visit to Brooklyn was not a success. It was not. Because those business people are now paying the price, some of them. I want to say kudos to the ownership of Palms Bakery for coming out earlier today and apologizing to the community. I mean, that is needed. There need to be some level of healing there. And listen, I would encourage people to go to Palms Bakery because she was sincere. She was sincere today. I encourage people to go to Palms Bakery. I must say also, Mark, big time kudos to Linda's, my favorite place. Miss Linda was having none of that. I've met her. I know her personally. And
Well,
that's a good thing.
There are business people in Brooklyn who had better things to do. And so we
Correct.
say kudos to all those business people who had
Yes.
better
things to
and
do.
those
Correct.
business people who had better things to do, again, we salute them. But those few who wanted to confuse the minds of the people of Brooklyn, be careful, guys, with where you spend your money. If you spend your money on the hills, don't spend it on the hills. Come down from on the hills and go other places and spend your money. They've got to apologize. And with that, Mr. Wayne Caesar, we remind people of the treatment of mainly African Guyanese in Guyana. This is how they treat African Guyanese. Shame and disgrace against the PPP regime. Mr. Caesar, it's always a pleasure. Our operator is signaling that the time is up. And we say to the people of Brooklyn, stay strong. Do not allow those few to manipulate you, to brainwash you, to bully you. It is not going to happen. It is your money. You have every right to spend it wherever you want to spend it. And that's all we have to say for now. But Wayne, thanks as always. And God bless you and your family.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Good night, everyone.
Appreciate it. All right, Wayne Caesar there. And we're out of here. We'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be back, same place, same time. But I want to leave you guys with this video here. I love this video. Here's an Indian brother, Indian Guyanese brother, talking about the racism and how the PPP regime is treating persons of African descent. You will hear, first of all, a PPP guy is telling people that you have to buy hot dogs. And if you don't buy hot dogs, guess what? If you don't purchase hot dogs, you ain't getting nothing. Nothing. That is how Guyana is right now. Good night again to all of you. Gloria Pod, Lily, Thomas Anderson, Keith Beresford, all of you guys, Charlene, Wanda, all of you guys. Once you see the propagandists, those penny propagandists talking strictness, y'all go under their lives and make them busy. You know what I mean? Make them busy. Tata, I'm out of here. God bless you.
I was made to understand that some people are refusing to buy the hot dog tickets as it relates to the PPP. I want to see the list of names of people who buy the hot dogs. And if those persons who refuse to buy the hot dogs and they are on this cash grant list that the government is going to give in April, I'm going to remove their names for failure to support the PPP. And I'm serious, I make a joke.
Viewers and subscribers, welcome to Guyanese News, where we discuss news about Guyana and the diaspora. If you're new to this YouTube channel and you want breaking, trending Guyanese content, please smash the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment in the comment section. You can also support this YouTube channel by becoming a member and getting exclusive perks, exclusive video that is not going to be uploaded publicly, is going to be uploaded to the members of this YouTube channel. So press the member button and become a member. We are going to play a video with a Guyanese, Antonio Ahmad, exposing the PPP politician them. Right now, Guyana full of oil money, and there is $1 million worth of contracts that is taking place. But who is getting these contracts? Politician family and friends. And this businessman, who is also a contractor, is exposing everything. You are going to be surprised what is taking place. Right now, we all know that Guyanese critics get the $1 billion contract, right? And if you check the post them on Facebook, when the government released all of those contracts, there was a photograph circulating. Most of those contracts related to the families of Guyana politicians them. That is why the ethnic relation community is stepping in and trying to investigate why local Guyanese is not getting this contract. So check out this businessman exposing everything. Remember, this is Guyanese News. Smash the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment in comment section, and become a member of this YouTube channel.
Talk about contracts, right? You see, what I can't understand is the government is saying that they're not corrupted, right? And their ministers are not corrupted. But explain to me this. How, in 1 year time, right? If you have 100% bidding for different contracts, they're not getting it. But one man is getting 3-4 contracts for 1 year. Explain that to me. How that one person is getting 3-4 contracts for 1 year when other people are bidding for that 1 year for different contract and they're not getting none. Explain that to me. You know why they're not getting it? Because friends and family and cheese. Secondly, the government is saying they are not racist. If you are not racist, right, then explain this to me. If you have majority of black community, the black people in this country, Guyana, right, are teachers and nurses, right? And you do not want to raise the salary and you do not want to give them a good wage or whatever you call it, right? You don't want to give them good salary. You don't want to make their life easier. But you choose to import, to bring Bangladeshi nurses 500, and you choose to give them how much? 1,000 US, I think, a month, and plus free place to stay. But your own Guyanese people, black community, black people in this country, right? You're saying you're not racist, right? Now, you do not want to give your own Guyanese people that support you for the last election, that voted for you, right? Your political party, PPP government. You do not want to give them a good salary. Then what do you call that? That is not racist? What do you call it? Hatred? Explain that to me. If it's not racist. Majority of the teachers in this country are black. Majority of the nurses in this country are black. And they're going in the States and they're making money. They're getting good salary because they have the qualifications. Imagine your own people in your country, you cannot afford to give them. You can afford, but the thing is that you do not, you just choose to not give them because you want them to stay poor. You want them to stay in a way, in a lifestyle that the government could control these people. That is the situation in Guyana. Foreigners do not know the situation that is going on in Guyana until you come to Guyana and face it. Imagine foreigners coming in Guyana and crying for buy everything. Majority of the foreigners that are coming in this country, when they come to the market and they hear the prices for items in the market, they cry to buy it. When they go to the supermarket or go in the Chinese store, the hardware store, because they come and they build houses and stuff, and they go and they buy hardware items and stuff, they cry to buy it because they know that things are very expensive in this country. You understand? Let me tell you guys something. I want foreigners to listen to this. If you come to Guyana and you come in the market and you know me, Antonio, right? And you come to buy something from me, please do not cry to buy it. If you know it's kind of expensive for you, then go somewhere else. Please don't buy from me because I don't like when people cry and buy things from me because I sell at a reasonable cost and I know the situation I'm facing in this country, right? To get to things to put on my table to sell. You understand? I work hard for it. So please do not come and cry for it. I don't like it. You understand? Now, situations in Guyana for the doctors and nurses and public servants, right? We all see that this administration that is in power, right? They do not care about the poor class people in this country. They want us to stay at one place, poor, very, very poor, so they could control our Guyanese people. I hope that I want parties, 3 political parties, to come together, unite, collate, and make this country better. You understand? Please do not watch race. We do not need that in our country. We need people to come together and start with this racism. Okay? Let me explain to you guys something. Every time the PPP, Jagdeo, Air Fanali go on a press conference or they go out to communities and they speak, they always speak about the negative part. They always speak about apnu this, apnu that. They speak about the past. You're creating hatred. That is racism. That is racism.
We want you to look out for us. We do not want no segregation. No. We are one people. And if we're going to do it, let's do it together. Because we have respect for you. Take responsibility. We want you to look out for us. We do not want no segregation. No. We are one people. And if we're going to do it, let's do it together. Because we have respect for you.
Oh